So we are moving things along to our next panel. I'm going to bring up our people, and one of them was one of the awardees. So congratulations, Tamika.
Hold on. I'm so excited. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm really, really excited to be in such phenomenal company. So many badass Latinas. I love it. Trailblazers,
We we
trailblazers.
are. We are. And you know what? Don't feel like and I love Heidi because Heidi's a Boricua from New York. So we talk
Igual.
like you tú también, that's right. And and I'm from Jersey originally. So there's a certain lingo and a certain language. Like, don't feel like I used to feel back in the day like, man, I think I talk to like gangster, right? A veces, right? Or I can be that way, right? I know how to, I've been in executive level environments for a very long time, but we can be that way. And we feel like we need to not be a certain way to fit in certain spaces. Pero sometimes we have conversations with important people or people at high levels, and they will cuss and they will talk and they will be like, oh, I get you,
Girl, you
because
are preaching to the choir. Everybody who knows me, which there's a lot of people on here who do, know that I am so unapologetic about the language I use, how I use it. You know what? I'm so passionate that, sometimes the words just help me bring that passion to light. So I'm with you. Amen.
yes, yes. Well, welcome to both of you. We are going to be talking about entrepreneur and business as an asset, right? We talk about wealth, we talk about so many things, but many of us are entrepreneurs here, and many of you have small businesses, or many of you are thinking about starting a small business. And we believe that is a great and critical path to wealth building is entrepreneurship and business. So with both of you here who have your own businesses, have your own spaces, we want to talk, we want to digest that, right? How do we achieve that? How do we talk about that? Many of us have like been in environments where job security has always been the safest place, or the safest path, as we've been told, get a good job, something that's with the government or something that pays good, and quédate ahí for like 50 years. But I think we're way better than that today. I think we realize who we are is really way more than that. So I want to start the conversation, and I want to start with you, Kirk, on this conversation. Is we've grown up in those environments where you mentioned before in the imposter mindset, right? How do we shift our mindset to really embrace entrepreneurship as an equally valuable and important path to financial security and to freedom?
Well, I want to thank Tamika for dropping the badass on there so I can drop a badass. It's realizing that we're,
That's
as
right.
Latinos and Latinas, we're all badasses. All right, first and foremost.
Amen.
And it's coming to that realization is that our Latino voices carry value in and of itself. The 200 percenter was used here. We're a little extra. We provide more, but we can't lose the thought that, and the thought of el calor latino ese que estamos aquí. And I'm the first one to really start Spanglish, right? That connection of being a Latino and a Latina, it's a bond that really should help elevate us past that imposter syndrome, really help elevate that entrepreneur mindset. And first and foremost, we have tenemos muchas boricuas aquí, el ay bendito, el ay Dios mío, ¿verdad? We have to eliminate, estamos en la lucha, eliminate that mindset, correct? Estamos en el éxito, no en la lucha ya, ¿verdad? And it's changing that mindset from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance, really abundance. Do you embody that? Do you live it on a daily basis? I wish that me, the 50-year-old me, I know I don't look 50, pero the 50-year-old me could go back to the 28-year-old me when I was the first Latino to anchor in English in ESPN history and empower myself to be more Latino, because yes, I would drop a little Spanglish on the air, and I was the first one. And man, was I marginalized. And I had to fight to be Latino, right? I had to fight to be that authentic Venezuelan immigrant. And on a daily basis, it was in that corporate ESPN room where I was second guessed. I was marginalized. I was told not to do it. I said, no, I have to do it. I'm the first one. I'm representing. No one knew that Big Papi, David Ortiz, was Black until I started screaming Dominicano when he hit a home run. So it's owning that, right? It's realizing that look how far we've come from that 2003 when I was that first Latino to anchor in English in ESPN history. to now. Now I get people reaching out to me. Can you be authentically you? Can you do the Spanglish thing? When I was told, don't be that Spanglish guy. Sound white, look white, right? Now it's we provide more. We provide authenticity. We've talked about the numbers, 3.7 trillion, fifth largest GDP. That carries weight to your voice, right? When I first heard that at the USHCC last year, man, I felt like our time has finally come. It's realizing that as an entrepreneur. And listen, I'm not telling you, listen, you spent 20 years working in the school and education sector, go open up a restaurant. No, you're not a giant leader in your industry in that sense. Yes, you got to do what you love, but you can't just do what you love and go in there without any past experience. You have to have past experience, past performance, right? Know that where your worth is may not be exactly what you love, but then try to realize, let's see, my value is in here, my superpower is here, I have this experience. How do I translate that into something I love, right? And I can go on and on, but I gotta shut up. I gotta let Tamika in here. Dale, badass.
I love it.
Now
I
we're
love
gonna
it.
become best
Tamika.
friends, Kirk.
Love it.
Tamika, would love to hear your insight on that. You know, when we think about that, when we think about our power, when we think about business as an asset, how can we leverage business to our benefit?
Well, I think, first thing is our cultural authenticity is a power, right? And we already know that we're not a monolith, right? We have this beautiful tapestry that when we come together, our authentic self, like we get to incorporate all of that in these wonderful products that we create, these services, our branding. And so I just like to take like a page out of like, Eva Longoria really put this on the map for everyone, but I had already heard him speak years before. I think about like Richard Montañez, right? He's the one who created the Flaming Hot Cheetos, right? For the Frito-Lay company, making so much money for PepsiCo, right? This brand that was really this Latino, his Latino culture, he loved pique, right? He loved things hot and caliente, right? And so he was able to take what he's used to growing up, right? His chile, and bring that to the forefront so that these companies can make multi-millions. And then they divided that and made so many other products out of it. And so these brands, we are the competitive advantage for these brands. And we think about like even like MAC Makeup, who did a whole line just for Selena. And we think about just like there's so many products. Disney, one of their most biggest growing was Coco, right? Like there's so many, like we know who we are and we know what we can bring to the table. But we were raised to be calladita te ves más bonita. And you know what? No, loud and proud. Like the louder, the prouder. Like it's back to what I think one of your people said before. We have to walk in with confidence, right?
Yes.
Those 5 C's are so important. And one of that is confidence. But how do you gain confidence? You gain that confidence by being really good in your craft, by really protecting your branding, by networking, by building those relationships, because it's all about the relationships, the reciprocity. When I think about how was I able to grow, my brick and mortar business or the nonprofit that I run, I got to be honest, it was all in the relationships. I scaled my profitability and made my operations efficient because I was able to work with other organizations. And honestly, being part of today's Inspired Latina, that whole movement, it was all of my Latinas who backed me up on my dream, right? Both as an entrepreneur, but then when I pivoted into nonprofit, that was really like the game changer. I was able to use all of their skill sets, whether it was a marketer, right? Jackie Camacho Ruiz, whether it was someone who had all this experience in public speaking and branding. I used all of them. I went to them as a mentee, eager to learn because that's what we do. And I had no problem asking, which so often we're afraid to ask. Don't be afraid. The worst someone can tell you is no. And my acting career really taught me a long time ago about how to take rejection, as hard as it was in the beginning, right? When I didn't get the roles after 50 million auditions and, but all of my past experiences has really helped me to take those relationships and those crafts and talents and really kind of own who I am, push back the imposter syndrome, and know that I have so much value and worth and that I'm everyday learning, the constant, consummate learner. And I watch the people who are doing what I want to do and I'm watching what they're doing and how they're doing it. And you know what? I'm making it my own. And that's how we get better.
Mira, Tamika, you know what? Dovetailing on that is it's okay to speak with an accent. Don't feel bad that you have an accent. You know what that means? You speak more than one language. So you put those other people in their place.
Absolutely.
And that accent, that twang, that local sazon that you put in it doesn't matter. Pero like you can use it however you want. You're right. And let it be your empowered voice. Doesn't matter, doesn't make you less. So long in this country, just because we had a little accent, oh, that makes you less. No, that makes you more. That's part of what makes you more. That's part of your strong Latina voice. And embrace that accent and make it part of your persona, right? Make it part of your brand. Y de eso se trata.
Right. And, just be unapologetic. I step into every room. Part of that comes with age, to be honest. I'm not there yet, Kirk, 50, but I'm getting there. But let me just tell you, I've learned a lot from watching my older friends. I tap into them, all these generations. I'm learning from the younger generation and I've learned from the older generation and I'm eager to learn. And so, I'm just staying true and unapologetic and language, style. I had a casting agent tell me once, and I was just talking about this with Jeanette, who won a prize earlier, that she was like, how do I make you look more your age? You look too young for your age. And I was like, do you know Latinas? Let me educate you, right?
Yeah.
So like I went in owning that. So anyway.
Yeah. I don't know how many Latinas can resonate with being told you look too young or what? How old are you? Like 11, 12? I mean, that's hysterical. But the fact is, don't let that hinder your sense of self, of thinking how you show up and the credibility and experience that you have thus far. Because sometimes we're like, oh, I do, man. I feel like I'm young. And no, I'm inching towards Kirk's number like soon. So
you both don't look it. You both don't look it.
Yeah,
Who was it that Dora
Latinas,
wrote? Brown don't break
brother,
down.
because we're
You go,
Latinas.
Dora.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Dora wrote
Right.
down, don't break down. I love that. Brown
I
don't
love
break
that.
down. That's great. That's great.
It's so true. It's so true. So like when it comes to like starting a business, we talked about the importance of having a business as an asset, the imposter mindset, right? Things that stop people. And also you guys mentioned something with organizations. So definitely be that squeaky wheel in your organizations of saying, hey, I have a solution for this, or maybe this can be done in a better way, and being an advocate. But if you're not being heard, you need to find spaces where you will be heard. Secondly, you mentioned Richard Montañez, and I love that story. At the same time, we don't want to support. We don't just want to. And maybe that's not the just, it doesn't even belong there, but it's really aligning with organizations that are aligned with our values, right? And the reason why I say this is because there are organizations, we need to worry about climate change, guys. We need to worry about our water quality, guys. We need to worry about our air quality, guys, because these are issues that are important and organizations are impacting those things in a negative way. So it's important that the organizations that we want to raise up, or the organizations that we want to align ourselves with, care about the air quality and are doing something about it. If they're producing pollution, right? That they care and they're involved about the impact that their business is doing to the Latino community, and not just using us as a tool, not just using us as money. Like, hey, let's get in there. Let's get some Latino Spanish ads out there, and we're just gonna completely pulverize that community, right? We need to be smart about those things, especially as someone who is in marketing, right? It's really being smart about who we are aligning ourselves with, and are they doing good for our communities, or are they not doing good for our communities? And if they are polluting our air, and we need to be aware of this. We do your research. We need to be aware of these things when it comes to business.
You got to be down with the brown, right? You got to be down with the brown. If you're not down with the brown, there's the door onto the next one, right?
I love it. I love it. So true. So true. All right. So guys, we're getting close to wrap up here, but I want to ask you guys to share like your last bits of like, how can, what's your message to someone who is thinking about starting a business and needs resources or access to certain things? Like, what's your best advice to help more Latinas and Latinos, right, start businesses in a smart way?
Mm-hmm. Oof, there's so much. I'll tell you the story of how,
No.
and it's all about owning your worth, right? Own your worth. I didn't know
Yeah.
mine. I was working for the CW as an executive producer and the host of a show. The only thing black or brown about it was me. And I didn't like that. And then they asked me to train the rest of the corporation's other minority, not minority, but lifestyle entertainment shows. A Scripps Corporation, they have like 30 something lifestyle entertainment shows. And they're like, how do you do what you do with only a team of three? I was like, well, do you have anybody else who's a two-time Emmy winner, ESPN anchor, New York anchor? Like, no, well, there's your answer. It's first of all, we're Latinos and we work harder, better, faster, smarter. And second of all, none of them have that experience. And they go, oh, can you go train the rest of the 30 something stations nationwide? And I go, sure, if there's a change in my compensation or title, no, no, no. You're just a corporate, you're already a corporate employee. It'll be part of your regular duties. I said, wait, wait, wait. You just t told me that I'm out producing teams of 10 and 12. How do you think I do that? I bust my ass. Why? Because I'm a badass, right, Tamika? Because I bust my ass. And then my wife, La Bori, me dice, mira, nene, you're not knowing your value. Don't give away your talent and your secret sauce for free. I quit 2 days later and I launched Xizzle TV. Xizzle TV free on Roku, Samsung, and LG. But what do I do there? I tell black and brown stories. I tell Latino stories. I tell powerful and impact stories because I wasn't going to give away my secret sauce for me. If I'm going to go and train 30 something people for a huge corporation, espérate un momento, time out. That's when the bulb went off, right? I can go do this on my own. Más sabe el diablo que viejo que por diablo. I went and did it on my own, right? So that's the big walkway. But then when I did that, I did what? I reached out to other Latinos. Use your network. Reached out to Fox, a Fox C-level suite. Oh yeah, bro, I've been a corporate anchor my entire life. What do I do now? How do I get back to those corporate doors to knock on them? He goes, oh, become an NMSDC member. And I'm like, NMO, what? I go, get yourself certified. NMSDC.org is one. WeBank is another one. Latinas in here, get yourself WeBank certified. And then you create not only here at United Latinas, but also you create a WeBank community, go to their conferences. And it's really powerful and impactful. And then you start connecting with other people who have the same mindset. Once I stopped, not owning my own worth, I started recognizing other people who are my level, right? I was 1% in what I did. Not everybody makes it at ESPN on that talent level, right? Know your worth and then recognize when somebody is on your level. Then connect with those people on a real Latino level, right? Latina level. And then it just all flourishes and it all goes into place, right, Tamika?
Amen. Absolutely. And I think that as someone who had a full-time job and also had a brick and mortar business and was out there going on auditions and acting in plays and doing commercials, this mindset that we can only be good at one thing, like that's so old school. We're so beyond that kind of outdated thinking. I think that we've already shown the world. Look at Eva Longoria. Look at everything that she's doing. She's doing business. She's doing movie producing. She's doing acting. She's doing it all. That's just one example, right? We are like four-dimensional. We're not only good at one thing, we're good at so many things, right? But make sure that that we're at this brink because of social media and because of TikTok and because of movie storylines and all this, that we can just go out there and take risks, right? And lots of the times I know that it's fear that holds us back, fear of instability, fear of how are we going to look in the eyes of others if we don't make it, fear of, that financial security and all that, right? And sometimes that really stops us from doing what we want to do. Pero with that being said, right? It's when you know what you're good at or what you want to be good at, and you invest in the time in being the expert and doing what you love and getting that experience and knowing that you really are owning your worth, that you can absolutely have a full-time job and start this entrepreneur business and making sure that you're making money before you take the leap to do it 100%. So many people are taking the leap because they're really good at their talent. And here's the problem. They don't have the business mindset. They forgot about the taxes. They forgot about the accounting. They forgot about the things that go into running a business that truly makes a business successful and profitable, and paying themselves and paying Uncle Sam, and you know, where you, if you have a job and then you want to start that entrepreneur mindset, right? You start out small. You start out where you at least have some stability with your income. You have health insurance, you have retirement benefits, right? You're paying yourself first. You got 401k, you got all this other stuff that you can at least start your side hustle and see how that side hustle is going. And when you see that you're getting to a point that, you know what, I can make this work, that's when you take the plunge. Don't take the plunge right before you're ready, which I think, you know, we see all these influencers who are talking people up, and I think that's great. But at the end of the day, I think you have to really you have to own your worth and know your worth, and you have to invest. And then you have to really think about, what's my value? What do I find valuable as well, though?
Correct.
Do I want to, like, we always put 110%. As women, we leave ourselves for last. The gas tank is empty. Después del trabajo, después of the entrepreneur, taking care of our children, taking care of our men, taking care of the cleaning the house. Like, there's nothing left in our gas tank for us. And we leave self-care behind. And so set those boundaries, learn how to say no to what is not driving your ultimate goal. But it starts with backward design. What is your big, fat ass dream? This dream that is so bigger than you, right? And is everything that I'm doing aligning to that big dream? And if it's not, learn to say no.
Wait,
Mic drop, a million.
And one more on that, because once you do make that jump, right, and you become an entrepreneur, don't start off small. Start off big. If you have, like for me, I was a 2-time Emmy winner, ESPN anchor, and then one of my side hustles is I'm a corporate Zoom consultant. I teach delivery and presence and performance to corporations on Zoom. You know who my first call was? I said, oh, I didn't go, oh, let me start selling small. No, I called my buddy at Google. Oh yeah, bro, I'm up doing this. Oh, would you teach me something? I taught him something, and I can teach you all something right now if you want, really quick. But I developed 3 practical tips for performance. And guess who my first client was? Google. And I trained 3,000 Google employees in one city. It didn't go small, right? I knew my value, right? Own your worth. You have to own your worth. Sit back, know your value, and lead with that value. What do you always lead with the value, no matter what you do in any entrepreneurial endeavor, is you have to provide value. Can't be oh, by the way, I launched a business. Can I have some money? Can you get me on as a client? Can, you know, no, with the value. What is your value proposition?
Yep. I love that. I love that. Thank you guys so much. I know we have our next speaker that is, we're over time, pero you guys are awesome. And this is what it's about. It's about building these relationships, having these conversations, and building more things. So thank you, Tamika. Thank you, Kirk. And
thanks for having us.
Viene Millie, otra body. Dale, Millie. Hit him up.
Dale. This was amazing. Thank you. Thank you.